Guys, it is finally time. We have FC25 career mode footage, and in today's video we're going to go through all of the cool new features coming to the game, and I've got all the highest resolution and best quality clips. EA have allowed me to access these early and make a video. They've released a deep dive. If you want to watch the trailer, it's on their channel. And we're just going to get straight into this. There are some very cool new features coming in the new game, which isn't far away. We're just kind of a couple of weeks, almost, wait, what is it, a month and a little bit now? It's just coming up so quickly. So first of all, we're going to talk about the live start points. Obviously, you can start a career mode like usual, fresh new season. Live start points, which is coming, I think it'll be a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months into the game coming out, because they need to get data. They need to have the season play a little bit. Otherwise, live start point is basically a fresh new season. You know what I mean? They need to actually wait. So we won't be able to do this right away from launch, but a couple of weeks in, a couple of months in, you'll be able to start the league 10 games in, and it will match what's happened 10 games in real life, which is a really cool feature, especially when it comes to around March, April next year, when the season is almost coming to an end, and you might want to go back and relive some of the cool moments, or just try and see if you could have done better. Or, of course, you can just start late into the season and get into a season 2 if that's what you want to do. It's all possible now with live start points. Really exciting. And this is what the menu looks like when you're deciding to do this. Of course, this isn't real. This isn't a real life table unless they used it from last year. It might have been, actually. This might be data from last year. Is this what the table looked like? No, there's Leicester there. They weren't in the league. But right now you can see we're between the 9th and the 15th of February, 23, 22 games into the season. You can see the points they've got, where teams are, and you can literally jump in, take over a club, or you can see at the bottom, you can create a new club and replace a team. You can decide between men's and women's. That's both going to be available. But also you can have a look at their cup runs. So if you were going to join Liverpool, you'd know you're in the round of 16. Your next fixture is Real Madrid. You're in the 5th round of the FA Cup. You've got the final of the EFL Cup. You already won the Community Shield. Of course, you're not going to be able to compete for that one. That one's already done, but this is a really cool feature, something that I don't think I would use too much at the start of a new game, but certainly when it comes to that kind of, I always get that feeling almost towards the end of the season, I'm itching to try and basically build what the next season would look like. And you can just easily do that, which I think is a really cool feature. We'll move on to simulation gameplay. They've added tons of new settings, new sliders. Simulation gameplay is brilliant. It's a really good addition because for once, finally, we can now separate offline gameplay in career mode compared to online ultimate team, whatever, you know, that fast arcadey style. So if, like me, you like to slow things down and play a more realistic game of football, it's already built into the game. You don't have to mess around with sliders if you don't want to, although that is still possible. But they have their own pre-adjusted settings, so you'll be able to do whatever you want or use their own recommended settings. And as you can see, it changes all the numbers automatically. And also, we can now change the AI behavior, which is really cool. It basically means you can ask the AI to follow their plan, their real life plan. So Man City will play a very tiki-taka style, and they will play that every time. Or you can go with dynamic AI behavior, and it randomizes it. So you're going to come up against a different Man City every single time. And I think that is absolutely key to keeping career mode feeling fresh. Here we've got the simulation settings. We've got wind effects in the game now. I've tried it. It's quite funny, actually. I was running up the wing with Ben White, overlapping Saka, as he always does, whipped in a cross, and genuinely, it was a great ball, and then it went whoop, just slightly off, because I put wind effects on high. It literally moved the ball. The stadium was windy. It's pretty incredible, but of course, you can turn everything off in simulation. You don't have to use this. It is completely optional, but I really liked it. Very, very cool feature. And then you've got all the sliders and things like that. Really, really important that they've added more customization to the gameplay, because this has been a thing we've wanted for years. Mods do it. I've been using a gameplay mod for the majority of FC24. I don't want to be. I want to be using what they've built, and now they've just added more, which is obviously very cool. And also, it's just keeping things fresh. If you don't like the Ultimate Team, quick, fast-paced football, you can really dial it back for a more realistic feel. So, Youth Academy, guys, this is where things get very exciting, because the Youth Academy, funny enough, it's what I'm doing right now with my current series. This image is a little bit smaller, so I do need to zoom in a little bit. They've added a ton of countries. I think there's 160 now. So we can go to countries like the Solomon Islands, Tonga, and obviously they've added all of these to the map there, and you can just effectively scout anywhere in the world almost. There are obviously still some countries missing, but a huge amount have been added. We've got the selected positions when doing a new scouting mission. So from now, for now, you can't do this. You can pick one position and one role, I guess, or one, what's the word? You know, when you go for a physically strong player, or you go for a defensive-minded player, now you're going to be able to do all of this. You'll be able to do 3 different positions and really narrow it down, but also expand it if you want it to be less about just finding a DM and maybe a bit more of a box-to-box midfielder. Or you're still happy to see DMs, and maybe you can throw in a few cams as well in the report. You can do that. 3 positions, really, really important. And here are the roles. So roles are a massive part of the game. You're going to be able to pick between, you know, certain focuses that you're looking for in a new player. And can I just say, it is such a tidy menu. They've done such a great job. It looks lovely, even though this is a placeholder thing at the top, as you can see here. Can confirm this is what the game looks like. It is very, very pretty. It's good to look at. So here we're looking at the youth squad, and can I just say again, this is something we've wanted for a long time, but we now, with the new menu, have a designated area, the academy. Brilliant. It's about time. And again, you're going to get all of the players that you've added to your youth academy. And by the way, the player pictures look so much better. And have you noticed, none of them have full-grown beards. None of them are bald. Not that there's anything wrong with getting a beard early or going bald very early, or if you've got some sort of disease. But obviously, the players look so old at times. It is hilarious. In yesterday's episode, I scouted a 17-year-old that genuinely looked like a 40-year-old. It was quite funny. Well, now in FC25, the players look young. So that's thanks to Cranium, new technology they've got in the game, which we'll talk about. The pictures look better as well. But I just wish they would get rid of this stupid shirt. Can we get a better looking shirt? Is it too late for that? But looking very good there. Now, obviously, a big part of the new game in general is Rush, a new game mode, which is in career mode. And it's an opportunity to use your youth academy players. So if we go back, you might see these players and think, 1 or 2 of them might be good, the rest not so good. Well, guess what? You can chuck 5 of them into a Rush game. Why not? Test them out. And the beauty is you can play them at their current rating, or you can play them at their full potential. So this player right here, Petrov, he looks like he's going to be insane, right? 14 years old, potential of up to 94. You can play him at his full potential. So when you play the 5-a-side Rush game mode, he's going to feel incredible because you're playing him at his full potential. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this, and I won't be doing this because it kind of defeats the purpose of bringing in youth academy players and building them, because you want to find out what that work that's gone into it, what that's going to feel like. So I will be playing with them at their current rating, because imagine if you have a 65 rated young player and you're like, wow, he's good. I don't want to play them in their 90s, but if that's something you want to do, you can. But it's actually showing it highest potential here. That's really cool. I didn't even notice that before. And there are now youth tournaments every 2 months, I believe they said. And again, look, squad, transfers, academy, office, customize. Everything's in its own menu. I love it. And you can just enter tournaments with your young players. And if you win that tournament, they get a development boost, which, again, really good reason to actually play these tournaments. This is what it looks like before you go into a game. This is a quarter-final. I believe this is the women's team, potentially. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. The kit looks like the women's version. It's a bit tighter around the waist area, isn't it? But playing at player potential. So these players are all going to be in their 80s and 90s, even though they're youngsters. Look, I don't necessarily agree with it. And I will tell you, I pushed back on that. I did. But they are right. It's fine to put it in the game because you can just not use it if you don't want to, and you can use it if you want to. So they've gone with the opt-in, opt-out thing. I was worried that it would only be playing at player potential. It was vital to me that you play with the players as they are. That's the whole point. So that was a big thing for me. And here is a screenshot of Rush game mode. Of course, you've seen Rush. It's on the training pitch, which I think is really cool. And it's an opportunity to see how the players play, again, at full potential if you want, or at their current rating. And this is the women's teams. Don't forget, women's career mode. It is here. So here we've got an actual video. I can show you a global transfer network menu here and looking for specific roles, searching for players that are going to fit your team, but not the youth academy. So this is a new scouting mission. We are looking at wingers, strikers. You can see all of the focused roles on the right side, and you can just pick which ones you want. You can literally set your scout to find a real mixture of players, which is key in any career mode. And it's going to help you find that perfect player that you're looking for, not just position-wise, but their role. It's so important you get players playing in their appropriate roles because they get the playstyle plus or the playstyle plus plus when they're at a high level. And trust me, those players all of a sudden are incredible. Getting that plus and the plus plus. Here's development plans. Again, looks a lot neater. I think the UI is genuinely such an improvement. And here we're looking at Bellingham. You've got a few of the new roles within the game. Half winger. You've got wing backs being able to play false back, so you can have like a Zinchenko at left back, but moving into centre mid. And obviously these stats aren't up to date. I think this is Bellingham's stats from the start of last year's game. But yeah, look, role growth. If you want to grow him into a central midfielder playmaker, you can try your best. Some players won't fit that. It might not be easy to do that because it's going to take a lot of time. But it's all very easy to digest. Everything's just shown you. It's shown right there in front of you. And you can really do what you want. As long as it's not crazy, you're going to get it done. You know, you're not going to convert a striker to a left back in half a season. That ain't going to happen. So here is the squad hub. And you get a lot of information here. You get age, height, weight, preferred foot. Have you noticed that there's no scrolling down? This is huge. I hate finding information on players and having to scroll down. Everything is right here. Like, for example, preferred foot, I believe in FC24, you have to scroll down to find. And also their nation, things like that. It's mental to me. But here you can see his best positions. So for Foden, although this is out of date, I'm sure it's not current data, but right wing, play him as a playmaker or an inside forward, and he's going to get a plus, although this looks like an injury icon. Luckily, it's not red. But that would be basic role, and then you've got enhanced role. So you want to get plus plus. Actually, I don't think plus is basic role. Basic should be non. Maybe that's an error. I don't know. I can check that. But again, looking very nice. And again, it's very simple to use the menus because everything is just on your triggers and bumpers. So you've got stats, status, stats, attributes, financial, all of that stuff. Development and match impact as well. Very, very cool. So here we're looking at Real Madrid and the tactical setup, tiki-taka football. Look at the box, the green box, which is, what's that called? There's a name for it, and I've completely forgot. It shows you the position on the pitch and where they're going to be working, you know? And you can really see how easy it is to decide what you want with the ball and without the ball, where you want players to be when you're on the break. For example, off the ball, I had Ben White at Arsenal defending, sitting at right back like he normally does. But as soon as we got the ball, I had him bombing forward, going past Saka because I had Saka coming inside. And to cover Ben White's going forward, I had Zinchenko stepping inside. And you can do this so easily. It's literally a few clicks. It's brilliant. And of course, you need to be very cautious looking down at the bottom here, because if players are out of position, it causes issues. You're going to see things like excessive stamina use. So if a player is out of position, they're going to be exhausted after a while because they're just not doing what they need to do properly. Cautious approach, you've got light at defensive roles, maybe they're going to not get back in time, things like that. But you'll also see how good they are, and what improvements are going to be made because of that position change or role or whatever. And that's what it's called, activity map. So that's what you can see when you see the green squares. And what you can then find out very quickly is where your gaps are going to be. Because if you've got an empty area, you haven't got a player there, be careful with that, obviously. Right, another huge feature, but just a cosmetic one. It's not really going to be anything insane, but it's still pretty cool. We now have social media, and we also have a very special guest. This first image, though, is just a typical social media post. A Man City player, youth academy player, I'm guessing, just tweeting, I guess, or posting on X. But this is the big one, guys. Fabrizio Romano is in the game. Here we go, confirmed. Tottenham Hotspur have signed Moreno. Interesting signing. They are adding more. I believe there are some more companies, organizations, broadcasters that will be in the game at some point. One of them here seems to be The Athletic. Transfer window opens. Intense few weeks ahead of us for sure. As fans, club and players are waiting for big moves. And you can hide the comments. Okay. Right. This is a very interesting thing to talk about. This is your task list. Thank you, EA. No more going through all the menus, all of the buttons and changing to different areas of the menu. Everything's just in your central hub. Everything you need to do is listed and you press X. Press X. Review training plans. Press X. Create a tactical preset. Press X. Obviously, you can just not do them. Ignore them. Review board objectives. That's something you just need to do. And remember, board objectives, they're broken right now. You can just disable them. You can make them really lenient. You can make them really strict. Much more control on that. So on the right, you're going to have the social media. And then on the left, you're going to have your task list. And then you've got notifications. You've got your squad, transfers, academy, office, and then, of course, your customize. One day, EA, if you're watching this, if anyone at EA is watching this right now, please in here, can we have a database editor? Make it so you can lock it. So if you don't ever want to be tempted, you can lock it. But why can't we go in and change literally anything? I want to be able to adjust anything I want for just creative series and stuff and not needing to use mods. That'd be very cool. So here we're looking at the new Cranium feature. This is a new technology that's going to be coming to more than just FC25. Other EA titles are going to get this in the future as well. Now, Cranium isn't just about being able to create a cool face for your pro or for youth academy players to look a little bit better. This single-handedly improves so much about generic player faces in the game. One of my pet peeves is signing a player that hasn't got a real face and they look nothing like the player. I will literally not sign a player because they just look nothing like them. With Cranium and the use of AI, EA are able to create, with AI, remember, this isn't an artist, AI are generating faces using pictures of a player, and I've seen it, okay? I've seen players in-game that I've gone, oh, they've got a new face. And then when I've zoomed in, I've realized, wait, no, that's just a Cranium face. It just looks pretty good. Huge, absolutely massive. And as you can see on screen right now, they've added so many things with Cranium. There are over 583 hairstyles. How are you even going to have time to go through them all? But Cranium's fantastic. It's in every part of the game. Of course, you're pro in clubs. You're going to be able to create someone that looks just like you, or you can make someone famous or someone that you really shouldn't be making. Youth academy players look younger now. There's so many good uses of Cranium. And as I said, future EA titles will get this as well. Now we're going to jump into a bit of player career. Coming into the new game, we are going to be able to play as legends, one of them being David Beckham. If you want a list of them, they're on the EA website, but Beckham is definitely one of the big ones. They've got Zidane, they've got R9, they've got Henry, and we're looking at the personalities, which is obviously something they've already got in the game. Secondary personality tier, I'm not too sure what that is. And look at this, recommended for cam, striker, left wing, left mid, right mid. And by the way, they've removed centre forward, left forward, right forward. Those are gone. And I believe they've got rid of right wing back and left wing back as well. So it's just right back, left back now in everything, which I quite like, to be honest. So here is the origin stories as well. So this is Ryan Underwood, climb to the top. I'm not going to read through all of these. So if you want to pause, you can. This is basically choosing your path, you know, so it determines how you start your player career. So climb to the top. You've got great expectations. This puts you as an 18-year-old. Return to glory. You're going to start as a 27-year-old, and you're going to get obviously different personalities, different starting skill levels. You're going to have a different rating, all of this stuff. Women's career mode might not be the most exciting feature to a lot of people. I feel like they've got a lot of unnecessary feedback, unfair feedback as well. People saying this just isn't a thing. Trust me, there are so many more people out there, not just women, but men as well, that are so excited about having women in career mode. It's a very different game. It genuinely is. They play so different. It feels different. And the good news is, guys, they're not really separated. Obviously, you need to pick one. But once you're in the women's career mode, you can still get a manager role in the men's game and just move. You can do it vice versa. Everything's entwined. Everything in the male career mode is in the female career mode. There's just less teams. Why not? Just why not? And you might not like it, and that's fine. You might not care. That's what I should say. You might not care, and you're not going to touch it, and that's fine. Doesn't matter, but other people will. And it's about being inclusive, and they've finally done what they've wanted to do for a long time. I know this is something they've wanted to do for a long time. So here is a Champions League game pre-match with the women's Chelsea team going up against Roma. Doesn't look too different to what we know of now. Now, this is interesting as well. One thing they've changed and not really talked about so much, I haven't really thought about it too much, but it's a huge thing. Player morale is different now. You know how you always just aim to get your players or your team completely and utterly ecstatic all the time, just very happy, green. Well, now, if you just push for that green all the time, players will get complacent. And get this, if your players, you can see it here, look, this sweet spot here. You want your players in here. This is what they're calling the sweet spot. If your players enter here, they're going to be complacent and lose stats. I'm not joking. They lose stats if they're too happy. So the key is rein your players in. Sometimes it's not about being ultra positive. You've got to keep that fire in their belly. You want to hit the sweet spot. And then sometimes you might be asked a question, which they've changed, by the way. The questions are different now. You might want to bring them back a bit because they're getting a little bit too complacent. And also, you don't want them to be unhappy. So you do really need to keep them in this area here, which is obviously just another thing that you need to micromanage. But one thing they've done is they've changed all of the questions. You can now be asked questions about tactics. So the reporter here says the traditional number 9 role has evolved considerably in modern football compared to just a decade or two ago. In that regard, what are you looking for in Shaw, this player here? What are you going to say? I think it's a really cool idea, the sweet spot thing. I really like that. So that's all I've got for you guys. So many new things that I'm really excited to play. And hopefully I'm going to get access to career mode soon, like an actual build of career mode that I can play and I can pick at. I'm sure there are little bugs here and there. What's your favorite feature so far, though? What are you going to be doing as soon as you get your hands on the game? Obviously, I'll be doing my Arsenal career mode. We'll be for sure using the new youth academy. I think Arsenal are now at a point where they've got a very strong first team. It's now about feeding it with younger players as well. I'm going to be trying out the women's career mode on stream. I think we'll do a stream career mode with that and testing the new morale stuff. It's going to be really interesting to see how all of the features work. Hopefully no game-breaking bugs at the start. Simulation mode, changing the sliders, things like that to make the game feel really smooth. And from what I've played so far, it's good. It's really good. Just don't patch it early. All right, let it simmer. The game is in a good spot right now. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.